Artists should have stricter guidelines on what should and should not be referenced in their music, as it has a great influence on their listeners, who are mostly teenagers. So we have all heard that little Miley Cyrus from the Disney Channel has grown up. We see her half-naked, outgoing performances on stage and her new in-your-face attitude. It has been a drastic change and the critics love it. Miley Cyrus and Lil Wayne are prime examples of artists who make a statement wherever they go, or better yet, wherever they perform. With that said, I want you to think about all the music you have listened to growing up. It may include the Beatles, Johnny Cash, Elvis, Kiss, or more in the 2000s, like Beyonce, Lil Wayne, Hannah Montana, Jay-Z, and many, many more. Now think back to how many of your favorite artists sang or rapped about drugs and drinking, in many ways than just coming right out and saying it. What age were you when you were exposed to your first song that talked about partying? Take all of these answers and look at 2013 and 2014 newest hot artists. Does Miley Cyrus stick out in your head? What are some of her popular songs? Well, let me give you 2 examples of her most popular songs, We Can't Stop and Wrecking Ball. I have had both of these songs stuck in my head since I have heard them over and over on the radio. I'm 22, and I have a few small years on Miley Cyrus, and I personally have followed her cute Disney Hannah Montana up until her recent short hair, rebellious Miley Cyrus. It was a big shock when she came out singing about a drug named Molly in her song We Can't Stop, and verbalizing the what happens at parties from the lyric, everyone in the line in the bathroom trying to get a line in the bathroom, to her talking about being turned up, which is a new word for being drunk or intoxicated. The more I have looked into it, the more I've noticed how much the explicit talk is in radio tunes. The scary part is we sing most of these tunes without even knowing what we are really singing about. I would appreciate if there were more regulations in place for putting lyrics about drugs and getting drunk on the radio. I feel artists can make catchy tunes and best-selling albums without adding in the use of drugs and alcohol. Think back to one of the questions I asked you a bit ago. What age were you when you were first exposed to a first song that talked about partying? I know for me, I must have been probably in elementary school, from my friends having their own CD player and radios in their rooms when I went to go play. But I remember most of all the influence started probably in high school when I was trying to find out who I was. Then I carried over to my young adult years. Music influenced my life a great deal. If I listened to what I called emo music, I wore all black and mocked my favorite artists. When I got a little older and my music style changed to club dance music, I imitated artists like Miley Cyrus to make the statement that I'm old enough to do what I want to do, and that's what I did. Thankfully, I never tried Molly, but I had a lot of friends who did. Here's a quote from a user who adores Miley Cyrus and uses Molly. I'm 28 years old, and I've started taking Molly about a year ago. I started Molly because I went to a bar that played house music and trance music. The club had the atmosphere that really catered to people who were really rolling by the lighting and make you blow up. After the first time, I would take it about once a month. I like the effect of the drug. The high is clean and makes you want to dance up against someone. Touch is something completely different when you're rolling. It also helps me mingle at work with customers at a nightclub I work at. I do enjoy the drug really very much when I take it. And here's a quote from an 18-year-old girl who does Molly in New York during concerts. I certainly think if people like Miley Cyrus and Lil Wayne are doing it, people are definitely going to feel like they want to do it. For me, while listening to electric dance music, the drug makes the music almost sound better. I know some people who work in bars who take the drug, and the first time they were exposed to it was from other friends who did it to make the bar scene more better or more fun. It doesn't help when young people are being exposed to it younger and younger by their role models, who they sing all the words to their songs to while being dropped off at school or driving themselves to school. If we had restrictions on music for our teens, where the music isn't out on the radios and isn't easily accessed, maybe we would have a decrease in young people going to the hospital for overdose. I understand not all trends are born from artists, but a great deal are. The exposure to young people is growing, and the ER numbers are rising. If we could put a stop to the explicit lyrics, then we could work on the exposure of drugs and party lifestyle from our teens. It's important to teach our young people that you can have fun without drugs. But if that's all they hear and see, then we're producing a new generation that will have no effect on our world. They will become drug addicts at younger ages, and we will have failing economies because they will be feeding off of government money and not working hard for success in life. In conclusion, there should be some kind of restrictions to artists and producers so that drug-related messages are kept out of the lyrics. The radio stations need to have a better control of what they play so that young people aren't influenced by lyrics and messages from artists. And we as a society need to become more aware of the messages that our modern musicians are conveying to our youth. Because if we don't, I fear Miley's wrecking ball might be more dangerous than we ever imagined.